There's no one here. There's somebody here. There's nobody here. There's somebody here. Hello. Let's do this. Sweet. Let's do it together. So what do we got? No. Eyes for inventory, but you can't see what you're equipped with. Let's not do double bombs. Yeah, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to switch shoot ever again. So let's do it. Do I still have these loadouts from back when what's his name? Reveille, when I was in Racian. Maybe I'm getting all these names wrong. But anyway, he had a tournament going on. I actually fought the first and second round in it. And then it stopped like so many others because everybody's grown up with the game. Was hoping it would update to accommodate our growing up, but it just kind of didn't. Anyway, let's do this. It's all good, Waja. Enjoy. Not everybody has to play. But we will play. We will dominate. Cat has appeared in my lap. So we were going on. I was gonna go on Mormonism for a little bit, just to give you my take on it. So again, with everything, let me premise this. With everything, there's knowledge and there's tact. Are you able to pick up Willa today? No, I'm gonna take a short break and work till 3. I can get her. Hey, freaking swipe texting. Her. Jeez. I can get her, sure, period. We'll go shopping right after, smiley face. Supposed to, like, redo the whole downstairs and everything, and I will, but this is my tech time. This is the last time I'm doing this for a while. So anyway, there's knowledge and there's tact. I know a lot of stuff about Mormonism, specifically their founder Joseph Smith, but that doesn't mean I'm going to shove that into their face, because Mormons believe in biblical Christianity. They just happen to believe that Jesus also came to the Native American area, and he preached to the Native Americans. Now, there's a lot of things we can go on about Joseph Smith. We can go on about the beliefs of Mormonism in general, because the beliefs in Mormonism, they have changed their own scripture. Again, what I was talking about, whenever one thing is written by one person at one time, you really gotta watch out for that. You gotta be careful, because it's just why people go to church and they listen to people who have like peer-reviewed studies and degrees in like divinity and stuff like that, because they know their stuff and they've based on what their peers believe, they're experts in their field. I mean, there's good reasons for this stuff, right? You go to church to be in a community. You should. Anyway, I did not even see that block. Thank you, Java. Thank you. Sorry, it was my own personal eyesight. It was just being inept. I gotta own that one. So anyway, this is why I am a strong advocate. This is one of those things which I won't personally enforce, but I will just about argue against. Why it's important, if you have a belief, specifically in God and church, you have to go to one. Otherwise, what happens is your faith turns into a religion of opinion based on whatever you think. You can negotiate scripture into whatever you want it to. You could see this even in the Christian faith, where even though homosexuality is not scriptural, what you'll eventually start doing is challenging the inerrancy of scripture. You'll get to the core itself. Oh, the Bible's just sticking. It changes with culture. Like, well, how far do we go with that? Do we change it? Like, is everything okay now? Like where do we draw the line? And Scripture doesn't say that. Jesus was pretty adamant about his words in Scripture. We can go on about homosexuality and all that stuff later at some point if we want to. But what happens is, so Joseph Smith. Well, let's start with him, right? So the story of Mormonism. Joseph Smith. What they won't tell you. Did I not pick up that hard? Thank you. My connection's dying, and I have no idea why. What they won't tell you is that he originally, him and his father, I think, were digging like random holes in New York, trying to find lost treasure. He was actually, he used like seeing stones you put on his hat and claimed to know where treasure was built. He also had a huge, fantastic mind, and there's like microprint court cases where he got in trouble for a lot of this stuff. So what he claimed to have found, the claims of Mormonism, is Joseph Smith found these plates that were written in ancient Hebrew Egyptian hieroglyphics, which they have actually found pieces of this, and it's absolute gibberish. But anyway, he did not translate them. He, with the angel Gabriel, used a giant pair of spectacles called Urim and Thummim and translated these plates into the Book of Mormon. That is the story of how it came about. The Book of Mormon itself tells of stories of ancient civilizations that had technology on par, if not greater than our current technology, where they talk about compasses and ironworks, camels and elephants and like horses, whole bunch of stuff, right? And cities, like miles and miles of cities, great wars that happened. So all of that right there, that's like the biggest red flag, which I usually don't have it as my go-to. I kind of use that as eventually like, okay, you need to explain this, because even though, you know, it's kind of like easy to throw at you, we gotta somehow wrap our heads around this, you and me. Otherwise, I can't get around this. So the Book of Mormon really strongly advocates for the ancient civilizations. When Jesus came over here, there was great wars. There is no shred of archaeological evidence that backs this view, this historical fact that's supposed to have happened in the Book of Mormon. Absolutely none. They also believe that the mark on a black man is actually a curse of Moroni, I think, because somebody, because they lost the war or they violated God's peace. I honestly forget that part. I've not read the entire Book of Mormon. I'm gonna be honest with you, because there's literally a giant. There's a lot of passages that are just copied poorly from the old King James Bible. Believe it or not, our translations of Greek and Hebrew have gotten better, of ancient Hebrew, have gotten better over time, because we have found more, and the world is less transparent thanks to like the internet and stuff like that. So we know we can bounce off our theories of what things mean, even though it's like a dead or at least not spoken language anymore, off of more information than we have ever had before. So our translation of the Bible is even better than it used to be compared to the Greek that we still have copies of. I mean, like, of the Greek that we still have copies of from like the year 300. So anyway, there's that. It also sort of gets rid of the deity of Christ. It said, I believe they say, Jesus was the first Adam. He was the first God. And we can all ascend to become God. Now, they won't tell you this either. They'll say we believe in Jesus too. Jesus was a son of God. And the Jehovah's Witnesses go down this road too, except they take out the divinity part. He said that we can just ascend. Jehovah's Witnesses also believe that we have been alive for all eternity. God just threw us into a body. But the archaeological thing is usually the biggest part. There's even a specific part in the book of Revelation which says anybody who adds or subtracts to my word, it will have his name erased from the book of life. You know, you have to forgive me, I'm not a scriptural scholar. I study more philosophy and try to, find out ways to talk to people about this stuff. So again, there's that. There's the knowledge aspect, right? So I try to wrap myself around the knowledge aspect of it. Knowing that, just having the founder of their faith, having such a incredible history for himself, and Brigham Young, and this is not even getting into the polygamy issue, or anything like that, which they will say is just for that time and place, just like the Canaanite genocide was, and that's just honestly taken it out of context. There was no need for that at that time. But that's just, again, my opinion. And you can look up other scholars' opinions too. I'm not saying I'm a scholar. I'm just saying it's widely well known. So that's like Mormonism in a nutshell. They are decent people. They believe in Scripture. It's just, in my opinion, due to the core doctrine that's in the Book of Mormon, it is hard to take the jump from from biblical Christianity, which is tried, true, and proven. By the way, that's one of the reasons, like, when my friend says, I just believe Christianity is a legend, that's a competent scholar will never ascribe to that. Jesus did exist. It all comes down to the resurrection, which there's a lot of evidence for, believe it or not. You should read the Case for Christianity. There's actually been multiple people. You think this would have happened multiple times throughout history, right? Where people will go and try to disprove Christianity. Well, it has. And usually they end up becoming Christians because they're like, okay, the evidence is ridiculously overwhelming. We can't deny this. C.S. Lewis did this too. He He said he was the most reluctant convert in England, and it wasn't that he was dragged through the gates. He was kicking and screaming, and his eyes darting left and right, looking for any other alternative to get out of this truth. I mean, he was straight up honest. He's like, I have to go to where truth is. Anthony Flew, hardened atheist, mentor to people like Richard Dawkins and I want to say Daniel Dennett, but he actually debated C.S. Lewis, and when he was in his 80s. He was a hardcore atheist. I like one of his philosophies. And what he would do is he would send every one of his transcripts whenever he would have a high-profile debate to the other person. He wanted them to know exactly what he was going to say. He did not want to, like, surprise them by anything, because he wanted to go where truth was. To me, that's like, wow, this dude is cool and serious. As an atheist, you know what I mean? He wants to go where truth is, because that's my philosophy too. So what would happen is, he actually beat C.S. Lewis in a debate, and he coined the phrase, give enough monkeys a typewriter, and eventually, in time, and they'll eventually write the works of Shakespeare, where they actually had an experiment like that. And that led him to doubt his own belief, because they eventually, due to that experiment and probability, the way that nature is designed and everything else, they actually calculated the odds of them writing one Shakespearean sonnet. Just like 16 lines, I think, right? It's like 1 times 10 to the power of 10 sounds like 123. So what that comes out to is more zeros. Jeez. Thank you, pop-ups. Mail just told me if I buy this shark drink, I can drink it and lose like 20 pounds of fat instantly or something. Thank you for that interruption. I am now totally engrossed in the game. In the, your advertisement. And I'm not even kidding because I'm talking about it. Anyway. So Anthony Flew, he wrote a book called There Is a God. He ascribed to deism at the end of his life because he found his philosophy was incoherent and that he could not get truth out of his atheism. It's amazing how many stories there are of this. Usually it takes a lot of pride and a lot of faith. Dude, I'm not buying the shark drink, alright, watch out. I'm like... Also, a lot of, I don't know how they get my email. I've also had people literally text me. I don't give my phone number out, like, anywhere. But they text me, like, yo, I live in Russia. Call me. My name is Natalia. I'm like, what? Who are you? Text 65318 to unsubscribe. I'm not even going to answer this because I'm going to be put on a list. More list than I already am. Dude, I might get that shark drink. I don't know. Thinking about it. If it, oh no, I'm going to be thrown into the spikes. Okay, no. Thank goodness. This pillar saved me. Java, you and your magic. Call me. I'm a shark drink salesman. Not doing it. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. I won't be online. You won't be able to hear that call. That's right. I'm killing this last zombie. I put the mic a little bit away from the keyboard, so I hope it's, you're not hearing like the rat-tat-tat constantly me switch shooting. Luckily it's to the point of muscle memory where I don't have to think about it too much. And I can't do it as fast as I want to because I have to basically count on Java lag. This is it's actually like my least favorite version of this floor. Mike. He has a frost bomb. Sakura, you're amazing. I just want to kill the healer. Can I do that? Mike? Mike! Yeah, there's so many, like, this game, in perspective, like, the game I played right after this was Brawlhalla. And that game, I could play with Blayu in Spain. And it's a game where frame rate and timing and all that stuff, very important in a fighting game. But we could still play competently against each other. It wouldn't be to the point where, like, oh, like, I have to swing at you like 3 seconds ago in order to make things work. No, and you notice it. Oh my goodness. You notice it, but it's not nearly as prevalent. We need to get that, excuse me, can I have a not pick up things option? Can you stop picking things up? I just want this. That's all I want. Thank you. I have to stop the fight for like 20 seconds and lose like 70% of my HP just to make that happen. Anyway. So, oh, my face. I forgot where I was going with that. We talked about Mormonism. So, Joseph Smith, right? Brigham Young. So one of the reasons, because I'm oh man, freaking played leapfrog with me. One of the reasons that Mormonism became so popular, besides its own social hierarchy, is any kind of club you start with that either has or claims to have deep roots, it's hard to get people to jump away from that, especially if it's rooted in tradition or their identity. This is what I am. That's a lot of things are like the gay pride march and stuff. People say you're insulting their gender identity, you're insulting them themselves, when not really. They're two separate issues. Because when you think about it, hormones go away, your cells corrode. We all have mortality. We're all dying. That is an absolute truth. But when you've defined yourself on something that is not outside of life, you define yourself by something that does corrode and does die over time, like hormones or sexual drive or whatever. You're placing your whole bet on life on ground of sand, right? The wise man built his house upon the rock, the foolish man built his house upon the sand. It's not something that's eternal in your own life. You have to really reach out for something a little bit more transcendent. So hey, we talked about Mormonism. Oh, we got this. Got this, boys. Boy. Let me give my voice a break for a minute. Mostly because I'm out of cookies, which is just freaking bumming me out. I got some Oreos, but they're my daughter's. I'm thinking about eating them anyway, because I'm a bad father. You can take out your little peons. Oh, there's my Alchemist stuff. Better debate than a book. Well, I kind of went. I wasn't gonna talk about atheism in general, but I was talking about like incoherent lifestyles. The Joseph Smith himself was pretty incoherent. Brigham Young, they died a martyr's death in a shark drink, of course. But in truth and debates, I was talking about Anthony Flew and how he talked to. Stop messing me up, Waja. You want me to buy your shark drink? I don't think I'm gonna do it. All right, the more you talk about it, the more I'm thinking about it, though. So I don't know. And shark drinks, dude. I gotta look up that email now. Just had to pop up. Whoop! Oh, you thought you got me. The world's slowest bullet. 10 minutes, huh? We got 10 minutes to do this? I don't know if we're gonna make it. But during the break... What's up, Dark Striker? During the break, we're gonna do some Risk of Rain, because that game's just fun as all heck. Do my Huntress a loop. I didn't have enough. I looped with Zeddy earlier today. Well, not with Zeddy, he watched me loop. Because he works during the time I have the ability to stream. Thank you, Sakurk, for getting all the idols except one. Because I just need to shoot things mindlessly. I can't think too much about this game while I talk. Welcome, Dark Striker. I'm giving the SK community my worldview breakdown and talking about different faiths I've learned throughout time. So welcome to deep conversation. We will address important topics that are not just SK, because SK probably died around 2013. I hope maybe I can help put you to sleep. That's always a good thing. The rhythmic tapping of me switch shooting with the space bar might help you out. Anyway, well, you missed a lot of the first part about it. I can dive into the Christian worldview a lot. So one of the biggest things in philosophy is, so whenever any philosophy, so I study mostly Christian philosophy, any philosophy you have, whenever you posit an absolute, you got to be very careful, because when you posit an absolute, there have to be nothing can contradict it, right? I know what I was talking about earlier. Anthony Flew. One point I wanted to stop counting sheep. One thing I like about him, he said this that really stuck with me. He said, any argument that can be turned around and thrown back at the questioner is a bad argument. All right. So the question. So what if Christianity makes you feel good? That doesn't mean it's true. But that doesn't mean it's false either. Like, it proves nothing. Like the one Richard Dawkins said, Christianity is a religion for those afraid of the dark. And then John Lennox said, well, that's brilliant. And I happen to think atheism is a religion for those afraid of the light. And then like it goes back and forth. And then what else? Ooh. And the other good comeback I like is like atheism is not a belief. Like Peter Singer was trying to tell John Lennox this. He's the professor of bioethics in Princeton, and he says ours is not a belief. We don't believe in anything. And he's like everything you believe is just because you're indoctrinated to it by your parents. And he's like John Lennox's parents were Christian, Catholic, so therefore he is too. He's like, Peter, were your parents Christian? He's like, no, they were atheist. He's like, oh, okay, you were also indoctrinated into your belief. And I'll be like, oh, but our belief is not a belief. He's like, yes, it is. Don't you believe it? And like the whole crowd just starts laughing. Like it's so. You have to twist a lot of words to make that not make sense. Pardon me. I'm glad we didn't get killed there. Anyway, I like stuff that makes sense and that you can reflect reality with it. So there's 4 things. Let me see if I can remember these. There's 4 things that a worldview has to be coherent with: origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. Where did we come from? Where did we go? Where did we come from? Cotton Eye Joe. You know, the song we all know and love from Dance Dance Revolution. Am I the only person that remembers that? I know, and dude, when I talk to people, so Dark Trigger says, I don't really like talking about religion, it gets people triggered. You're absolutely right. The thing about being confident in what you know, I'm gonna spark. I don't have any sparks. I can't spark him. This might be a failed run. But the thing about being confident in what you know is so Jesus taught this, right? Whenever you're talking about worldviews, if somebody strikes you, turn the other cheek. Be strong enough to take a rebuke. And if it's a direct attack against you, saying, well, that doesn't make any sense, you're just using ad hominem attack. We actually killed every other monster except this dude. That, like, never happens. You're using an ad hominem attack. Instead of, you know, debating my worldview, you're actually just being kind of a prick and deciding it's a good idea just to, you know, make fun of me. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? We did it. Do I have another spark? Can I revive him? Oh. Give me these sparks, boys. Where are we at? Are they rare? You know what? We got 5 minutes. We're probably not gonna do it. So when I was talking about this guy from Brooklyn, did I need a key? I did. Yeah, I did. There's a key here. So when I was talking to this guy from Brooklyn, every 5 words he's like, I don't mean to offend you. I'm like, dude, you are talking to a person that is unoffendable. I am looking for truth. I have found truth in Christianity. If you find it somewhere else, I need to know. And I need to bounce off whatever argument you might have that says my worldview is incoherent. And I need to examine that. Because if it's wrong and I can't make sense of it, well, then I need to find truth somewhere else. Yeah, I do get to keep my crowns. I guess that's right. This might be bad. Ah! Help! That could have gone a lot worse. You know what? You just literally freaking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You used your shield. Can you not be frozen? This guy is immune to all status effects. Now he can be frozen. What exactly? Only the Hell Driver does it, I guess. So we're going to stay here until they kick us off, and then we're going to do some Risk of Rain. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, so every 5 words out of this guy from Brooklyn Smile, I don't mean to offend you. I'm like, it's okay, man. I get it. I totally get it. But you won't offend me. Hate and mockery are the biggest weapons of the enemy to truth. Because whenever eventually, and this is what happens when you don't agree in absolutes. Because if you don't agree in absolutes, what happens is language itself becomes subjective. You can never really understand me. You can never really be in my shoes. You can never understand what real evil is like. Only I understand what real evil is like. And then, that again, that's a objective statement. Like the whole issue with like slavery. You never were a black person. I can still understand that slavery is wrong. I can still understand that killing children is wrong. I can still understand that violation of sexuality is wrong. And so as far as like rape and all that stuff, you can still understand it. You can conceptualize it. Just because you're not in that person's shoes doesn't mean you can't feel this person's pain. It's like saying a telephone pole is bigger because it's closer to you. No. Pain is still pain even if you're not experiencing it. Pain itself is either separation or threat of separation. Just by definition. Now, your nerves can actually play into that philosophically, which is kind of neat. But what was I talking about again? My legs are asleep. There's a cat. Oh, God! My headphones. I can't pause online games. Now he's dragging the head. You know what? Take the headphones. I don't care. Just hooked him with his tail. Freaking now he knocked my glasses off too, dude. I'm in a world of hurt right now. I'm handicapped. I lost my hair 10 years ago. We are done. Freaking, where'd he go? He just walked 2 feet away and sat down. He's like, come get it. Freaking cats, dude. Well, I have very little hope we can do this in 2 minutes. We still have to make it to the last room, but hey, here we are. But you need any person who is honestly okay. I know what I was talking about. Sorry, the emotional response given when you go to subjectivity. The breakdown of communication when it comes to putting everything as subjective. There are no objective truths. That's where I was going with that. Whenever you, that means communication is not possible. When communication is not possible, even though it takes sometimes a long time to learn a language, even a cultural language. There's like a cultural language, and then there's actually linguistics. I mean, there's different levels to language. You know, there's sarcasm, there's idioms, there's historical truths, which can also be, you know, kind of have a little implementation in conversation. There's different dialects, right? But the second you say that you and I cannot communicate, you and I can never understand each other, that is when we have nothing left but emotion, because we're abandoning our reason. We are two parts. Now, whether you believe in the spiritual or the logical part, that's different. I'm sorry, I can't freaking read chat because a cat knocked my glasses off. So I'll read your stuff in a minute. Give me a second. I saw you said something, Waja. But anytime you posit that we can't understand each other, we have no choice but to go to it. We are creatures of reason, all right? Aristotle, my tongue. Aristotle. There we go. We almost died there. Mike, good shot. Didn't have my glasses on. I still saw you missed. And we're done. Oh, we lived! All right, now I can actually get my glasses back. So, we're creatures of reason, but we're also heart and mind. If you are just all mind, all reason, you reason your way to gulags. You reason your way to people's ability. You are worthless because you can't do the same thing this other person does. They do it better than you, therefore you should just go, you know, you're a worthless human being. If you're all heart and passion drive us. They really do. There has to be heart behind conviction. If you have no conviction, this is why I didn't like our Frito-Lay way of the way they taught managers. They taught them to do without emotion. How are you supposed to inspire people? How are you supposed to motivate people? How are you supposed to say, hey, we want to, can you stick around for extra 5 minutes? We want to get this stuff done. You're like, no, because, you know, you go by the book, so why should I listen to you? Get down! You are not going to thwart this risk of rain loop. Maybe. Get over there.